I mean, wow. Wasn't that amazing worship? It's incredible. Incredible worship. I'm so grateful. Hey, it is so good to be at Musikfest again. Every year, Grace Church looks so forward to doing this. It is such a gift to be here because we love Bethlehem. We love the Lehigh Valley, and it is so good to be not only with our Grace folks, but all of you who came. Thank you for being here. We're so glad you're here. You know, way back 9 years ago when I moved to the Lehigh Valley, I had never, ever heard of Musikfest. Wow. But when you know, and now I know. And this is such an amazing thing where our community comes together, and I love it. The largest free music festival in the world, 500 performances, 15 free stages. I mean, every style of music you can imagine, from Bach to rock, jazz to country. I mean, I think after this, we have polka in this tent. This is great. 60 vendors of food, vegan, meat, tacos, Greek, ice cream, strudel, all that. And so many people. I just love seeing the people. Last year, over 1 million people. In fact, every year for the past couple years, over 1 million people. Last year from 48 states and 10 countries. It begins to make me think about heaven, right? Heaven's going to be lots of different people from lots of different places. Man, all together celebrating. So I wonder, you're here, maybe you've already been to Musikfest. I was here last night. What makes Musikfest for you? Is it the music? Is it the food? Or is it the people? Turn to your neighbor, tell them which one. All right, let's vote. Music people, let's go. Give me the music people. All right, give me the food people. Wow, okay. I better hurry up and preach so you can go eat. That's encouraging to know. All right, and now the people. Who are the people? Okay, whichever one you picked, it is easy to know why they call it Musikfest. Fest is this little word that means joyful and happy. It means worthy of a feast. And that funny little root word, fest, can be traced all the way back to medieval Latin word festa. And are you ready for this? You're going to love this. That means religious holiday. All right, so maybe that's why they let us worship every year, right? I love it. Every year we get to worship. We bring worship from Hecktown Road. And I got to tell you, if you have never been to Grace Church, we hope this won't be the last time you're with us. Come back. We're at 4301 Hecktown Road, right just north of Northampton Community College. We would love to see you. But we love coming out here because, as I said, we love Bethlehem and we love the Lehigh Valley. We love bringing worship out of our seats and into the streets. But it's true that some people would never put fest and church together, right? I mean, they wouldn't think that joy or fun could ever go with God. I mean, think about that a minute. Is God the ultimate buzzkill? Is God a cosmic killjoy? If you want to enjoy life, why would you put God in the mix? Well, if that's how you understand God, I want to invite you to take another look at the life of Jesus. See, Jesus came as God's only son to show us what God is like. And the very first miracle that he did was at a fest. It was the biggest party in his time, which was a wedding. I learned as I did a little homework, there have actually been weddings at Musikfest. And my favorite one that I read about came 15 years ago. And someone was at, a couple was performing at Liederplatz stage. And during the middle of their performance, the mayor came up and married them. Isn't that a great idea? What a wedding, right? The reception, just go tell people to go get food. It's great. And why I'm thinking about that is because our son is about to get married in 3 weeks. In fact, John and Mackenzie, if you're watching, man, we can't wait for your wedding. We're so excited. But here's the deal. Our weddings are tiny compared to the Jewish weddings back in Jesus' time. Let me explain to you what they were like. Weddings literally went on for days. And the couple had been betrothed already for years, like engaged plus plus. They were betrothed. And then the day came, the party started. There was a party at the groom's house, and there was a party at the bride's house. And then the best man led all the party at the groom's house to the party at the bride's house. And then they partied there for a while. And then they went back to the groom's house. And they didn't go the direct route. They went as most circuitous route they could, because everywhere they went, people would stop them and celebrate. It's kind of like throwing rice and sparklers, all that. Well, they did that for days. They would just slowly walk and get celebrated. And then, then they got finally to the wedding itself. And after the ceremony, they didn't go away for a honeymoon. The newlyweds would greet guests all week in their house. They had to keep their wedding dresses on the whole week. Like, they were treated like kings and queens and celebrated all week. It was a week to remember for the rest of their life. It was a fest. It was a party. And everything at those weddings had to go exactly right. Now, before we read what happened, I don't want you to miss what's so obvious. Jesus went to the wedding. Jesus was invited, and he went. He didn't just hang out in the temple or the synagogue all the time. He went to where people were. He liked parties. He wanted to be with his friends. Jesus told his disciples, and I love this. This is my life verse. I have come that you might have a life to the full. Now, I want to say that again because we're going to come back to it. Jesus said, I have come that you might have life to the full. Not a small, boring, glass, half-empty life. No, Jesus said, life to the full. And he didn't just say it, he lived it. He fested. He had meals with friends. He probably, danced at the wedding, right? I mean, he enjoyed life. And he understood that life was all a gift from God, his Father. And that is the Jesus life. People who follow Jesus are meant to live like that. If you follow Jesus, you don't stay isolated. You aren't boring. You're meant to live joyful lives. You fest. But the wedding that Jesus and his disciples were going to that day, there was a big problem. And apparently those happen at weddings, but it's not going to happen at our wedding, John and Mackenzie. No, not going to happen. But here's what happened. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to Jesus, they have no more wine. Woman, why do you involve me? Jesus replied, my hour has not yet come. Now, I'll stop there for a second. If you did your research on Jewish weddings, you would know just how important wine was. It was important to Sabbath meals, but especially weddings. In fact, a known rabbi saying was, without wine, there is no joy. Wine made the party. It made the fest. It was critical. And there needed to be plenty of wine, and it had to be good wine. Without wine, no fest, no joy. And for whatever reason, not enough wine was ordered. Or maybe too many guests came. Last night, I was at the Avett Brothers concert, and I always forget how many people are at Musikfest. There's so many people, so many mugs. I want you to imagine for a minute that there was no more beer at Musikfest. I mean, they ran out at Musikfest tomorrow. They ran out. I mean, that would be unheard of, and it would mean that somebody would probably lose their job, right? Somebody goofed. Well, running out of wine at a wedding was that unheard of. You didn't do it. But that's what happened. They ran out of wine. It was a disaster, and it was an embarrassment on the biggest day of this couple's life. Now, Mary, Jesus' mother, found out, and she goes straight to Jesus because she knew that her son could fix it. And at first, it seems that Jesus wasn't going to do anything about it. Mom, it's not my time. Now, if you know the rest of the story, you know that Jesus knows what's coming. And I got to say, if you don't know the rest of the story, I want you to know the rest of the story. See, Jesus knows that soon there's going to be another wine, the wine that he will share with his disciples at the Last Supper. where he wouldn't be festing, he wouldn't be dancing with his friends at a wedding. He would be getting ready to give his life. See, Jesus knows what's coming. But that doesn't stop him from acting. Here's what happened next. Mary, his mother, said to the servants, "Do whatever Jesus tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He didn't realize where it had come from, though the servants who'd drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you've saved the best till now." See, Jesus didn't just come to that party. Jesus actually saved the party. He saved the party. There were 6 stone pots, and those pots, they say for ceremonial washing, they were designed special. They were cut out of one stone. They were huge. They would fill that up with water. It would be blessed by the rabbis, and it was for washing your hands and feet, so you would be able to go to worship. But they were empty. And they were huge, 20 to 30 gallons of water, and Jesus says, "Fill it all the way up." Now, that had to take a while. They had to go get the water, but they did it. And when the master of the banquet, who knew what good wine tasted like, when he tastes it, he pulls the groom aside and says, "This is the best wine. You saved the best for last." Now, Jesus didn't just make enough wine to finish out the party and to keep the family from being embarrassed. No, Jesus made the best wine. It was better than the wine they started with. Jesus made so much wine, way more than they needed. Now, do a little math with me. 30 gallons of wine times 6. What is that? 180 gallons. Now, I had to look this up because 180 times, apparently it's 16 glasses of wine per gallon. So 180 times 16, I did not do this in my head. Anybody got it? 2,880 glasses of wine. 2,880 glasses of wine. Jesus was making a point. See, Jesus didn't just save the party. Jesus is the party. Jesus is the party. Jesus was letting them know, if you want the party in your life, you want me. If you want joy, you want me. You may think wine makes the party, but Jesus was saying, I'm the one who makes the real party. I'm the one. You think all this other stuff is good. Well, I've given all of it to you, Jesus knows. But I gave it to you to enjoy, but I'm the one who trumps all the rest, even this wine. 180 gallons worth of it. It's going to run out. It's going to run out. And all of it is to point you to me. I'm the thing that can give you life to the full. Now, I don't know about you, but in our family, we have division of labor. Do you have that in your house? Do you do? I mean, come on, nod your heads. I bet you do, right? Well, somebody does the trash, somebody cooks, somebody cleans, that kind of thing. Well, I got to tell you, I do not like filling up my car with gas, and so I try to forget about it or just not look at it. Honestly, sometimes I don't even notice that I'm running low, and I'm just hoping that my husband is going to fill that up for me. But that can get me in trouble. Because not too long ago, I started on this trip down to Philly on the turnpike. And I didn't realize how low I was on gas. Mark hadn't been in the car for days, or he would have taken care of me. But when I discovered that I was that low, I was on one of those stretches where there wasn't a service plaza to be found. Now, as a side, I don't know why they call them service plazas. I mean, but they do. But that's for another day. But there just wasn't one. And I could feel the panic rising. what was going to happen? There's no side of the, what are you going to do? What if I ran out of gas? Now, confession time. Anybody else had this happen to them? Okay, yeah, thank you for admitting that I'm not the only one, right? But here's a more important question for you. You don't have to raise your hand for this. Have you ever felt like you were running on empty? Have you ever felt empty? The job you used to like just isn't enough. Your marriage is stale. You thought summer could get you restored, but it hasn't. You're empty. Maybe you don't want to admit it, or you're too worn out to even notice, but you're running on fumes. Have you ever thought about what fills you up? You want to be filled up, you want more, and when you don't have it, you think you can get it. You think, oh, I'll just get a new spouse. I'll just get a new job. I need to go on more vacations. I need more money. Maybe when the grandkids come, that will fill me up. Or you think you finally have it, but then all those things kind of fail you, and it's not enough. I love what C.S. Lewis says, and this is tough. I want you to hang with me. Listen to this. He says, creatures are not born with desires unless satisfaction for those desires exists. Okay, you got that? I want to say that again. That's kind of the premise. Creatures are not born with desires unless satisfaction for those desires exists. Then he gives some examples. A baby feels hunger. There's such thing as food. A duckling wants to swim. There's such a thing as water. Then he says, if I find within myself a desire which no experience in the world can satisfy, the only probable explanation is I was made for something in another world. Probably the earthly pleasures, he says, were never meant to satisfy it, but only to arouse it, to suggest the real thing. Do you get what he's getting at? What Jesus is saying is that he's it. He's the festive fest, the only way to be full. Only Jesus can give you the party you're looking for. All the rest is to point you to the one who will give you what you really want. If you want to be full, you need Jesus. See, when Jesus makes the wine, he's saying, I'm the party, I'm the joy, I'm the full life you're looking for. Remember, I already said it. Jesus said, I've come that you might have life to the full. To the full. Now, we use the word full in a lot of context. A full gas tank, a full cup. I work full time. But what does it mean to have something to the full? If you look back at Jesus' word in Greek, it's the word prosesson. And that means that which goes way beyond necessity. See, Jesus is saying he came to give people life beyond their wildest dreams. And only he can do it. If you're a follower of Jesus, if you know who he is and what he means, you have this superabundance of life. You have this life you were made for. When you know him, there's a new vitality and a new meaning and a new purpose and a new energy. There's a new significance. There's a new outlook. There's a new hope that you can have when you have life to the full. Now, at Grace Church, we're pretty honest. Even having life to the full doesn't mean you won't have challenges. Doesn't mean you won't have difficulties. But what it does mean is that you're different. You're different when you live this Jesus life. See, what you begin to understand is that it's a who and not a what that makes you full. It's a who and not a what that gives you the life you're looking for. Now, I want to get you thinking about that as we close. Imagine this week you're going on a work trip. And you get to the counter because you got to rent a car. And the company has reserved you an economy car. In fact, it's a Kia Rio. And you get there, and it's not real sad. They have no Kia Rios. And the person says, we don't even have any Ford Escorts. And we don't even have any Toyota Corollas. And so I'm sorry, the only thing you're going to be able to drive this week is this brand new Ferrari we have. I hope that's okay with you. No upgrade charge. You know, when you know Jesus, you drive the same miles. You're on the same trip. But the ride is going to be so different. And Jesus stands ready to change your life. For it to go from water to wine. For it to go from empty to full. And it can be really tiring if you're continuing to look and you think you have it and you don't. But Jesus, the one who turned water into wine, today he wants you to find it. He wants you to find him. See, Mary knew what Jesus could do. And here's what she told the attendants. She said, do whatever he says. Do whatever he says. If you want this full life, those same words are for you. Do whatever he says. Do whatever he says. Say yes. Put your life in his hands. Follow Jesus, because he came to give more than you could ever imagine you could have. My prayer is you won't settle for less. Let's pray. Jesus, you're still inviting men and women to follow you and to find this full life. It is so easy. It's so easy to settle for things that will not keep us full. So I pray right now. I pray for every person under this tent. I pray for every person listening online. I pray that many today would take a step towards you, Jesus, and they would take a step to life in the full. We know, God, you have good plans for us, and those plans are tied up in us meeting Jesus, who came for us. So, Jesus, do your work in our lives. Holy Spirit, move through this tent, and we'll be careful to give you, Jesus, thanks. Amen.